Welcome to the Moon Stampcast, number 26. Now, usually we open with a joke, but this week we're going to do a little bit differently because it's a Tuesday, which is 2 days before we usually record, and we're doing a little special this week. There might be a special edition Saturday or Friday, Saturday. We don't really know. We're kind of playing it by ear. Things are happening quickly. But welcome to the Moon Stampcast. This is the Carter, I barely know her, to my Dennis Rodman, improving North Korean relations more than Jimmy Carter. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm like half here. I'm barely conscious right now.
It's the holidays are like the thing with the holidays is either super relaxing or it's like pounding you to death. Also with all the sports happening. So let's just get into sports happening. There's not much for baseball this week. I wish there was more. There's really not much this week in terms of every other sport other than football. But Corbin Barnes signed with Arizona. Cool. But Teoscar Hernandez signed with LA. And I only bring this up because he deferred $23 million, which is just so super cool because they keep deferring money. The Enron Dodgers are doing a great thing over there in LA. So that's really all I have for baseball. There's not much. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the deferrals these days.
Yeah. Passan caught a lot of shit because he was like, I think the tweet said something like, this is why the Dodgers are on top because they're willing to spend this stuff. And then the entire rest of the MLB, 29 fan bases, were just pulling receipts and shitting on him, being like, fuck you, you hate when people overspend and spend all these contracts and do all these things. Look at what you said about the Padres. Look what you said about the Astros. Look what you said about the Yankees. Look what you said about the Mets. But when it's the Dodgers, there you go. And he kind of went radio silent until another contract came out. So he definitely felt the backlash. Yeah. There is a bias. There is a media bias when it comes to these big teams, and that's across sports. It shouldn't be a surprise anymore. Like, we can get into a college football thing that happened with BYU and Colorado about that later on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone at this point should be surprised when a national reporter has some sort of bias towards the bigger team, especially when ESPN has a incentive for the bigger teams to do better. Because it's the profit. The profit margin gets better. ESPN is now owned by Disney. We're not dealing with like the small startup company back. I mean, I say small startup, but like the small channel back in the 90s. We have like Stuart Scott and SVP trying their hardest to make it work. I think I saw something like, this is what happens when you stop hiring as many sports journalists and start hiring, the dumbest people possible to make
TV personalities,
which, like, listen, like, it's fun to, like, I like when Stephen A talks about Mewtwo. Why? It's funny. It makes my life happier. I do not to be altruistic, but I think the overall happiness of all people goes up when, Stephen A talks about Lightning McQueen. At the same time, I don't really care about the Knicks all that much. I don't really care about, I don't care about Colorado that much. Sue me. I don't care about the Dodgers doing well. I actively want them to do badly. So say what you want about the national media. It's kind of gone crazy. I think there's a reckoning coming, but we will talk about it probably a little bit more when we get into our talk about BYU, Colorado in a second. Just going to run through some of my stuff. College basketball. There's actually bad things have happened in college basketball. Greg Gumbel died. For those of you who don't know who Greg Gumbel is, he was the CBS guy during the tournament. He was the anchor, whatever I don't know, whatever they called that guy.
The host.
Yeah, he was the host. Wonderful guy. Every time he was on TV, he did a great job. It's Selection Sunday will not be the same without him, this coming March. So rest in peace. He had a great career, but it's very sad to see him go. He was kind of the voice of the tournament along with Jim Nantz. Jim Nantz obviously left 2 years ago was his last run. Which, understandable. It's hard to be the play-by-play guy on these big level games for, all of the football season plus March, then going to the Masters. He had like a long run, but, sad to see that go.
Yeah, it's hard to be. It's always sad to see something like that pass away. Definitely the biggest name to pass away in the past couple since last recording for sure. Mm-hmm. No other notable deaths, really, thankfully. No. The baseball player. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. What was his name? God, escapes me. I'm the worst person.
I was going to say, no one who was unexpected at this point. There's that Dairy Girls joke. I don't know if you ever saw Dairy Girls. It's actually a good show where it's like, we can't believe sister, whatever her name is, passed away. It's like, perchance, how old was sister, whatever her name was? And she was 96. And someone goes, doesn't that give us some insight maybe? whenever we saw Jimmy Carter like almost dead, like he looked dead. We were weekend burnings him at the election time. I was like, hey, it seems almost unethical to keep him alive at this point. I'm glad that he's able to pass on, be with his wife, also like out of pain because he's been alive. Like everyone's like been like, oh, he's not dead for like the past 10 years.
Ricky Henderson is who I was thinking.
Oh, Ricky, yes. Okay. Did we? For some reason, I thought we talked about him last week because he talked.
We might have.
We might have. We may have mentioned him. I don't know. Ricky, greatest Steeler of all time. Like no questions asked. Talk about like, Randall Cunha Jr. season, talk about Shohei seasons. It's never going to be better than Ricky Henderson season. So rest in peace to everyone,
My nose is sunburned. Sorry. That's what I've been staring at and trying to adjust real quick.
I thought you were going for the cute red button nose like Santa Claus look.
So I was holiday season celebrating Rudolph.
Yeah. I mean, he's he's really the most forgotten of all the reindeer. Like in popular media, he gets like
slept on for sure.
Yeah, is he the most slept on athlete of the reindeer? Let's discuss. Oh, yeah. Is he the silent MVP of the entire team? Jim Larinaga, who is the coach of Miami, abruptly retired out of nowhere. I think Miami was 4-8 this season. It was not for like a weird, like, sometimes when the coaches retire or like leave abruptly, it's, the wink, wink. It's like they've done something bad. They've Tom Herman did. They've Lane Kiffin did. They Major Applewhite did it. No, he left purely because of NIL. He said he's tired of dealing with NIL. He's done with NIL. After his 2023 Final Four run, there were 8 players who came to him and said, I'm going to leave or look for other opportunities in the transfer portal and try to get more NIL money. Which kind of brought up the question of like, hey, have we gone to maybe a little too far? Which the old thing is like also the universities used to go too far as well. Coaches could leave at any moment. Players didn't really have any like recourse to leave after like, you have a guy just like leave in the middle right before the season starts. They also made no money, like the Johnny Manziel thing where they had to pretend he was an oil baron's son. So that was unexpected. I think there's been a lot of commentary on that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on NIL. NIL is like a dangerous thing to talk about, but that's why he left explicitly. It's kind of like the Saban thing. Saban basically said, I left because of NIL. Larinaga also left explicitly because of NIL.
NIL needs a salary cap. That's the way to do it. That's the way to keep it fair. That's the way to stop teams from just acquiring everyone because they have the highest boosters. This is 3, 4, 5 years down the line of discussion before we even see something like that. So for the next 5 years, it's going to be total chaos, which is kind of fun, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a fun new world. We're like all these guys who are complaining about NIL. You also were profiting. You're profiting from NIL. Like you can go get those players you want. Like Miami's Nigel Pack. Like let's not pretend, or Nigel Pack, not Pack. Like let's not pretend like they didn't pay him millions of dollars to go there. So, I mean, I like vaguely understand the frustration because it is hard to rebuild a team year after year. But that's kind of what college is in the first place. So I think there's a discussion to be had about this at some later day. There will be at some point, I predicted as of our last podcast, at some point there's going to be contracts. And I fully believe that's going to be some sort of contracts that come up and that's going to make everything go crazy. But two quick game things. UCLA beat Gonzaga. UCLA back after all these years, and then Memphis beat Ole Miss. It's just fun when Memphis wins things, and also the SEC loses things. They're still really good. For those of you who are psychos like me who look into like quad victories, I think still every single team other than South Carolina and the SEC is in the top 75 of net, which is a ranking system, which means that every single game is a quad 1 game in the SEC, which is quad 1s. I think I've talked about this before. It depends on your score, or your ranking in net. So quad 1, it can change throughout the season as well. It's like, when you were talking about Notre Dame, how you need A&M to do better. So if A&M had gotten worse, it would have been like a quad 2 or quad 3 win, not a quad 1 win if A&M had done better. So you want better wins and you better victories in whatever the quad is, and it can change throughout the season, which kind of sucks, but that's a whole other conversation. That's all with basketball. Soccer, Liverpool, they won. They're doing really well. I'm afraid to say this, but I'm going to say it. This feels 2019-esque. And for the Liverpudlians who are Liverpool fans who remember that year, that is the year, the next year, 2020, when Liverpool won the Premier League. It was both the earliest and latest win of all time. Thanks, COVID. That was cool. But I am feeling this. They were playing Man United back in 2019. It was in December. I don't think it was the new year yet. Maybe it was the new year. It was 2019. It was either 2019 or like early 2020. They played Man United. They won. Salah had scored after a wonderful assist by Allison, and the stands started to chant. The cops started to chant, "We're going to win the league." Now you can believe us. We're going to win the league. After watching them just dismantle West Ham, it feels like that is happening again. I'm afraid to say anything just because, like 2019, Manchester City kind of fell apart. I'm not going to say I've seen Liverpool lose the league by a point before. I'm not going to talk out loud. At the same time, I am very, very happy, and I feel things inside me I've not felt for a long time. Also, I don't know what the fuck the contract situation is in Liverpool. Salah said he and Liverpool are far away from agreeing a contract. How it works in soccer as well is that it's not like you don't really trade players ever. And so when a contract expires or when there's 6 months left on the contract, in January, other clubs can come and negotiate a contract with the player for the next year without having to pay a transfer fee. Basically, just giving someone away for free. It's like we're doing with Bregman right now, except usually you don't trade players.
No, I think we get a pick for Bregman.
Yeah, no. So
because we offered him a qualifying offer, I think we get a pick back.
Yeah. No, we get. Was it a fifth and third and fifth? Maybe we get a fifth back, maybe because we had who was it we signed? Whoever we signed, maybe it was Paredes or someone. I don't know who we. No, it wasn't Paredes. It was Paredes. I don't know. We lost a pick. 2 picks, and then we're going to get one back with Bregman probably leaving. But basically, you don't get anything if the player leaves. So Trent Alexander-Arnold also. So he did this thing where he talked by his ear like this. I can't really do it because I'm looking at the camera like that. And people were speculating that then he's going to Madrid, and Arne Slot said, "You know what that means." And everyone's like, "I actually don't, Arne. I'd really like you to explain to me what that means." So. Liverpool, who knows what's happening, but that's all Liverpool news. That's soccer news. Obviously, we're still in the Christmas/holiday period, so fun times. Brian, it's time to talk about the best game of the year.
Oh, yeah?
I speak, of course, of the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
4th round, by the way. Sorry, real quick. 4th round is what I was trying to find the word that I'm supposed to use for Bregman, and we get a 4th round pick from whatever team signs him.
Yeah. That's just not a bad thing. I mean, I'd prefer if a worse team signs him. Hey, can you please go to the Athletics or something? But
I have a feeling it's all signs lean Yankees.
If he goes there, I'm gonna kill myself on camera. I can't deal with that.
I've seen Yankees, I've seen Seattle, and I've seen the Mets. I don't remember the third team.
I don't know if the Mets on him.
I don't think it's the Mets team. Yeah. I don't think it's the Mets.
I don't think the Mets need him at this point. The Mets are just Steve Cohen can do whatever he wants. He is the money bags. He's like the what's it? The duck guy, Duck McScrooge McDuck or whatever.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck. He's just diving in his money he makes every day. So he can sign whoever he wants. It's like the Chiefs last week. I acquiesced to you. Steve Cohen. You just have more money. You just win this. Really, every team should be owned by a billionaire who is in capital investment or, in investing. So, Jim Crane, would you like to get into a new business? I don't really know what you're doing in the first place, but hey, I know a guy. I know some courses you can take. On TikTok guys. I don't know. Hustlers University. You can take Hustlers University, Jim Crane. Brian, are you ready to talk about the best game of the year, which is the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
What's your favorite flavor of Pop-Tart, real quick?
So here's the thing. I was influenced. So I actually never had Pop-Tarts growing up. My mom just did not allow that. That was none of that. Sodas, Pop-Tarts, whatever. Not allowed in our house. I'm home for Christmas still because I have a break. I have PTO. My brother and I last night went to HEB at 9:00 because we were influenced by the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I'm having the hot fudge sundae right now.
Yes, that's the best one.
That shit rocks. That's the best.
That's the best one.
It rocks. It tastes so good because
that's my favorite one, dude. Oh, so good. That and s'mores are just.
I was about to say there's an argument for s'mores. There's an argument. I haven't had that in a while. But I am having to actively make sure I don't go in the pantry because I'm I will eat more of it if I go in the pantry. So I've been
fucking good.
whoever like at Pop Tarts or Kellogg or like whatever the marketing firm they hired, I've been influenced. You guys did a great job. So you introduced
Nailed
me
it.
to Bliss. Also like my for some reason my brother bought like healthy ones. This is just a quick rant. They have more sugar, more calories, like than Pop Tarts. Like, dude,
Healthy.
I have microplastics in my balls already. Okay, I'll just add some more with your Pop Tarts. Who
Let's
cares?
go.
There we go.
That's
Give me those macroplastics in my balls. I'm fighting the 2025, the year of macro balls.
Our grandfathers had lead. Our fathers had asbestos. We've got microplastics. Let's fucking go. Let's keep this tradition rolling.
What's the next generation? Next generation is gonna be like
Tide Pods.
That's technically
It's a joke from 2021.
See, we talked about Tide Pods since 2021. I was gonna say it's like brain rot YouTube content that just melts their brain. Oh, do you remember? I think it was. Who was the guy on Rescue Me on FX? Weird way to. I don't think anyone knows who that is because that's all I know him as. But he did a Hulu commercial back in the day. And it was like it's basically like he was an alien saying that Hulu likes to melt your brain and turn it into mush or something like that, so the aliens can eat it. That's what Skibbity Toilet is, and I say that as someone who's watched Skibbity Toilet content before, which
I
like.
refuse.
As like a 28-year-old man, like I'm like I kind of get it. Honestly, I see why the sensory overload makes sense. So
I can't wait for college professors to have like on their big like their notes on one side and Minecraft parkour on the other side of their lectures. It's gonna be phenomenal.
Was that in Temple Run and also like ASMR videos?
Subway
of, like,
surfers.
Subway. Honestly. I'll say this. Maybe I'm just like my brain is destroyed. If you put a Subway Surfers thing on and like have like Jubal in the morning talk to me or Brooke and Jubal in the morning talk to me, I go crazy for this. This, by the way, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about at all. This is purely for TikTok brain rot people. So by the way, Brooke and Jubal, great time for. I'll spend like 38 minutes at a time. There's actually one I've saved that's 38 minutes long. I just need to like 2x speed it while I watch Minecraft parkour. Yeah, I'm broken. Broken is not what we talk about when we talk about the Pop Tarts Bowl because it rocks. Strawberry Jesus came back from the dead.
He is risen.
He is. By the way, the funniest part of that is when. Thank you. Is whenever they played the Alleluia from Handel's Messiah, technically what you're supposed to do when that song comes on is stand up. I hope there was someone that day who stood up for that and no one understood why. So I don't know. It was purely expertly marketed. It's like the meme bowl. And like, the thing is, I will watch it every year. Like I watched it last year. It's like, let's see what this is. Like, if they're going to eat a Pop-Tart this year, I'm like, they're going to eat that fucking Pop-Tart. Or that he's going to be so happy when they eat them. That's their dream right there. Their dream is to be eaten.
Fuck the playoffs. I want to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I honestly, like, if I am like a guy on a team and I'm saying like, listen, we're not going to make the playoff. I want the Pop-Tart Bowl. I'm going to an ACC or a Big 12 school in hopes to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Because it's just so much fun. It looks like everyone's having a great, like, the Pop-Tarts are menaces. Awesome. They get to eat a Pop-Tart. The field's full of sprinkles. I mean, everything works together. They play hot stuff, whatever that song is. Like, you have to remember, the Pop-Tarts, there's lore behind the Pop-Tarts. Their dream is to be eaten. Yeah, that, like, their dream is to be eaten. And so I'd explain it to my mom. She was like, I'm like, it's their dream, Mom. It's their dream. That's what they all want, is to be eaten.
So are M&M's like a rival gang then because they don't want to be eaten?
Maybe this actually just goes back into cults. Like, you have the Pop-Tarts are part of a death cult, and it's like the what's the cult from LA with the Nike shoes? It's like Heaven's Gate. They're like Heaven's Gate. They want to go. Whereas the Pop-Tart, the M&Ms are like, just like normal people who are like, I don't feel like dying right yet. So has anyone made this comparison yet? Is this the first time?
I don't know. We are so far away from football right now. It's incredible.
Honestly, I remember like here's what I remember from the game. Iowa State won. Cam Ward's out. Other things happened. I was fully interested in what the Pop-Tarts were doing. I don't like, honestly, I watch it for the football, maybe, didn't remember anything about it. Like, good for Iowa State. I love Iowa State. Cyclone Larry, this one's for you, buddy. But I don't know. This is my favorite thing. Like, I was more excited for the Pop-Tarts Bowl than I think was for some playoff games. I mean that genuinely.
Yeah, so, we went through them last week. We could let's hope for a better round, more entertaining round at least. But I think more football is still good. I don't want to go away from the 12-team system.
No, I think we're good where we are now. In like 3 or 4 years, maybe we can have a discussion. But right now, let's see what happens. I mean, if anyone's calling for a 16-team playoff for right now, it's like, hey, buddy, like person. let's breathe a little bit just for a second, because we haven't even gotten through the first one. We get 4 kind of worked, but we wanted to do 12 so far, maybe not working. We'll see. Speaking of not working, I've seen people saying like, maybe we should have let BYU in. Hello. I was talking about that way before anyone else. BYU was the team I was like, listen, like, I understand why it's going to be hard for them to get in because SMU was the de facto ACC team. Clemson kind of snuck in at the last second. BYU, I mean, there just weren't spots left. There's a world where Alabama gets the spot BYU would have had. But I think BYU probably should have made it. They had a solid case to make it. Unlike Colorado, who got, murdered by BYU. Those Mormons killed it. Good for them.
But if you were only watched on Twitter and didn't look at the scoreboard, you'd think that Colorado dominated that game because holy shit, the only post that ESPN decided to post was a down 33-0 touchdown from Sanders to Travis Hunter. Now, I get it. Very marketable names. But that was the only highlight they showed from the entire game. Just the most biased shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's like the Passan tweet where it's like, I get it. You're trying to market it and make money. Like, you're a business. You're Disney subsidiary at this point. The mouse owns you. At the same time, hey, I just like want to watch sports. Like, I just want to watch sports and I just want to talk about this.
Worldwide leader in sports.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, like, I think Fox Sports actually has a better case for that. Now, I mean, probably not, honestly. ESPN probably still is the hands and away the best because they just have the most people employed. The Athletic, though, has the best coverage. I'll give them that. But ESPN has the best, like the most worldwide reach. So, but yeah, BYU, we should call that the Golden Plate Bowl because honestly, what they were seeing, good for them. They just destroyed Colorado. I mean, there's really nothing else to say other than that bowl. Other than I said it, BYU did a great job.
Maybe should have been a playoff team, but like I said, but also like you said, it's the first year. They're going to feel things out. They're going to learn from their mistakes. Hey, maybe these teams shouldn't be auto bid. Maybe we shouldn't have conference champions as auto buys. We should have the best 4 teams as buys. I digress.
Maybe you should call auto buys auto bots, make it
make them roll out.
Episode. Roll out. Yes, you roll out the new thing. We figured it out. Mark Wahlberg, call me. But yeah.
I have one quick thing for college football, and that is as time is getting closer, as we're getting closer to the Georgia Notre Dame game, I am getting more and more nervous and starting to look deeper at stats and teams and plays and looking at highlights. And buddy, I've seen this movie so many times in my life. They're only 1-point favorites, which is I've spent the past week hammering Georgia, just covering the spread. I've just seen this movie so many times before. I'm remaining hopeful, but outlook is honestly bleak. Like this just has Notre Dame getting stomped. It's 29 years of being a fan, man. Even before I was conscious and knew what was happening, it was just like, we lost.
Next year's our year. It's like being a Cowboys fan. In a way, we're both Cowboys fans. You have Notre Dame and I have the Maple Leafs. So we're both will suffer in pain forever, apparently.
Yeah, but I think Georgia wins by 10, to be honest. It's going to be I think it's going to be a trouncing.
As a neutral, I'm just excited for some good football. Meaningful good football. Also, I'll just I can cut this, but I probably won't. I think it's funny that everyone who watches the Lane Kiffin video on TikTok assumes we're both Notre Dame fans. Like, actually, my football team fucking sucks. They're really bad. So I have no fight in this. I just want to watch good football. So good football, watching teams that suck. Texans.
None
done.
of the people that are commented were Georgia fans.
Yeah, I mean,
They were. I think there was a Tennessee fan. I think there was a South Carolina fan, and I think there was an Alabama fan. And I was like, "You're proving my point."
Tennessee fans also don't deserve respect after what happened. It's like whenever I went to the AFC championship game and some like employee was trying to chirp me with a TCU hat. I'm like, I saw the national championship game. What are we doing? Like, I just win by default. Like, my team isn't good either, but who cares? Speaking of not being good, Texans, wowzers,
Yikes! Yeah, it was horrible.
They are the 8th team since the NFC AFC merger in the 70s to only score 2 points in a game. Last one in 2013. Last time before that was in 1990. So it's not a good club to be a part of. That was
Got the crown in something at least.
Scoring 2 points, 18 to score 2 points, you'll never sing that. For 18 to score 2 points, you'll never sing that. Yeah, that's a soccer.
Is that a Liverpool thing?
It's a soccer thing. It's like whenever you're losing, you just go like champion or like bottom of the league. You'll never sing that. It's like you make fun of yourself. It's all you have.
I thought one of them was it's only 3-0. It's only 3-0.
The best one is let's pretend we scored a goal.
Oh right, yeah, okay. I've seen that one.
So let's pretend we scored anything other than 2 points. Again, I think we talked about when UH was like brutal, being shut out the entire time. It's patently hard to be in a football game and not be able to get in close enough for a field goal. We did it. Good. I mean, Texans just put on a show this past week. I mean, listen, as someone who like is a very nihilistic sports fan, also isn't allowed to be mad at sports because the Astros were good, UH was good, Liverpool was good. I just kind of like resign myself to the fact that I have to be happy for a second. I just turned that. I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson murdered us. We'll get to the Ravens in a second. My one note for the Ravens is actually happy to see you in the AFC championship game. Very cool. So we'll see if that actually happens. But I am somewhat despondent because whenever we were talking about the Texans in August, July, one of the things we're like, listen, this can be our year. We have a great receiving core. We have CJ Stroud coming off this wonderful first year. Seems like he watched like game tape. Defense is better. We've only improved. And now I'm like, well, it's gonna be fun to lose to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, don't look great either.
Hey, we are either playing the Steelers or the Chargers, and I think it's an ass kicking either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Chargers. We're just fucked.
I'd rather see the Steelers.
We're also fucked with the Steelers. But at least I don't know. At least the Chargers. Like the things I actually like the Chargers. Like Jim Harbaugh has done a great job with that team. That's actually one of my notes later on. We're fucked either way. We're dead in the water. Like this is the equivalent of a dead man walking. Like we know our fate. We know what happens in the wild card round. We lose. And I know we like people are going to blame on Slowick and CJ, and that's fair. But it's like, I don't know. It just feels like the receiving corps has been let down, and not by their own fault. Also, we talked about Tank Dell last week, only having a dislocated kneecap.
Oh, that was wrong.
Not right. Turns out my initial thing I heard was like, this may be a career-ending injury. He tore everything. His knee's gone.
He's out for the next year for sure. He's not playing next season.
He's done with 2025, 2026. He's not playing. I mean, who knows if he comes back then? So who knows if he just says, you know what, fuck it, I can't do this again. He's been. I mean, last year he's tore his ACL last time too.
No, snapped his leg in half.
Snapped his femur. Got shot, and then this. I mean, nonsense injury happened. So at that point, at some point, you have to be like, okay, whatever. We'll see what happens. So. I don't know. I'm what you may call vaguely disappointed.
I mean, I'm not disappointed in him. I'm just disappointed in the fact that it keeps happening to him. It sucks, dude. All this dude wants to do is ball, and he's CJ Stroud's best friend. You saw how much it affected CJ Stroud. It wouldn't surprise me if we hear about in a year that he's done. He's not coming back.
Yeah. I mean, it's, by the way, disappointment is just for him. As I saw him at UH, he was a great receiver at UH. He like begged to be here, and he got here, and it's just like it's not been his fault. Like it's not his fault what's happening. But also, I'm vaguely disappointed in the Texans as well. I do think that there's something to be said about CJ kind of being thrown into the worst part of the fire. I looked at some stats. There's been a 3rd and long by the Texans 137 times this season, which is, I think, the next highest was 90, which is crazy.
Hey, that's Bobby Slow play calling.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's first and second down, but first and second down, it's the worst success rate. And for some reason as well, I don't know why. Because there's only one other team that kind of does this, and I think it was the Dolphins. There's this weird thing on first down where at home we throw 75% of the time. At away, we run 56% of the time. I don't understand that differential. Why are you changing like the style that crazily from home to away? Because every other team in the league, like there's like a 4 or 5% difference. So Bobby Sloak needs to go. We've talked about that this entire season. He needs to go. He should be gone yesterday. He is destroyed. Like CJ Stroud, I think maybe has his own demons to fight in terms of his offseason was a little maybe too boisterous. But at the same time, like you can be boisterous as you want if your play caller actually plays to your strengths and doesn't try to like destroy your career.
CJ Stroud, listen, it was I had the best rookie season, one of the best rookie seasons of all time. I don't want to say he didn't put any work in. That's not what I'm saying at all. But he maybe was a little bit too, loud in the offseason and look at me in the offseason. I've already made it. You're one season in, and we scraped into the playoffs too. It's not like we went 13-3 or 13-4 and dominated. We scraped into the playoffs just like we did this year. Yeah. This is objectively a failure of a season. Yeah. I mean, we failed to build upon anything. In fact, we regressed in almost everything except for defense.
I mean, given the expectations the Texans had for themselves, the fans had for the Texans, I mean, there's something to be said. Like, is the goal? I remember, I think it was a soccer guy talking about this, where he said the goal for every season is to win the the league, which I think is a little whatever. You can't win the Super Bowl every year. That's really hard. We're barely
unless you're the Chiefs fan.
There's a team that's going to three-peat this year, which we'll get to in a second. But it's just the talk was AFC Championship or bust, basically. And I mean, at this point, it's like the Texans are in the playoffs, but it's like because the AFC South sucks. I didn't even realize. Maybe I didn't care going to this weekend. Both Jacksonville and Tennessee were 3-12. I just hadn't noticed because they're that much of a non-factor in everything that happens. I knew the Colts were like trying, but they were, they were there. I mean, this is our Colts is our team. We bleed blue, but so whatever. I mean, it's a CJ Stroud looks broken. The Texans offense looks broken. I heard, Stephon Diggs might shun his short-term 1-year contract, but who knows?
I hope so, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just tired of this team, man. I'm ready for the season. Like, I know I was listening to PMT and Big Cat and Memes said that as Bears and Jets fans, they're just ready for the season to be over. As a Texans fan, I'm kind of ready for that too. I'm ready for, we're not going to win anything. We're going to lose to Tennessee probably this next week because who cares? We're not playing for anything. We're going to get shit stomped by the Chargers, the Steelers. Let's get a higher draft pick, hopefully do something with that draft pick, have a good offseason, reloading. Let's get focused for next season. It's depressing at this point.
Yeah. What's not depressing though is if you're a Ravens fan, they look great. Maybe it's because the Texans just suck. They looked great this past weekend. I think Lamar has opened up the MVP conversation again. There's that touchdown throw he had. I can't remember who it was to or when it was, but I watched and I was like, that guy's an MVP candidate right there. There's no way because he made the play happen. He used his feet. He threw perfectly. Defense also, again, it may just be the Texans suck. Defense looked great this weekend. I think there's probably a 3-headed monster heading into who will come out of the AFC. Is the Chiefs, the Bills, or the Ravens? We'll get into that a little bit later and see if we have any predictions so far. But my next note was just it's literally Chiefs, frowny face, and then again.
Three-peat, black magic. Yeah. They're going to win it all. There's nothing more to say.
Yeah. I talked last week about it's time to acquiesce. I mean, I don't know what to say other than after watching that, like dismantling the Steelers. And again, they also still not scored 30 points. That's the thing. Like I don't know if they're like they looked better this weekend than they have. I mean, they're finally getting into gear this season. Which who called that? I think you called that. And I think I called that. I think everyone and their mother called that. By the way, week 14, it's like, oh wow, they're really good at football. They're going to spend the first 13 weeks being okay, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, they are really good at football. But yeah, let's just. Hey, I'll see you in February, guys. See you. Have fun.
Congratulations. Hey. Travis Kelce, congratulations on dating the most famous woman in the world right now. Hey, Patrick Mahomes, congratulations at being having a three-peat and being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Oh, congratulations that you just had Xavier Worthy fall into your lap and he's starting to turn into the first-round pick weapon that everyone is suspected. Oh, Pacheco got an injury? Don't worry, he's going to come back in time for playoffs and run motherfuckers over. Oh, and don't worry, you got a top 5 defense also. So congratulations, Chiefs fans. I'm exhausted. Fuck you.
Dan Campbell, I'm so sorry. Honestly, I wanted so badly for you, but I don't know why I said Dan Campbell. I just think I think the Lions are probably going to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Injuries, man. They're. I think right now the NFC favorite is either the Eagles or the Vikings. The Vikings look so good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're right. I just fucking don't. I don't want to believe it.
The NFC is going to be a fun playoff in the second round. The AFC is going to be a fun playoff in the second round.
Yeah. I mean, I think playoffs are going to actually be really fun this year because there are a lot of like really good. It's like the opposite of college football where they're like really good teams. Whereas college football was like, hey, they're good teams. They're like, there's not one really good. There's some really good teams. I do think you're right about the Lions. I always forget they have. Because I don't know. I wanted Dan Campbell to succeed for 3 years at this point.
And Jared Goff. I'm a big Jared Goff guy.
Yeah. Dude, what was it? I think the story came out was it 3 years ago or something where week 15 he came in expecting to be benched. He came out of Dan Campbell's office and be like, you know what? I can do this. So it makes me sad. Because Dan Campbell just seems like a guy who genuinely cares about football, about his guy. Like the football guy term gets tossed around. That's a football guy right there.
Listen, but before we get to woe is me about them, they're not dead.
No.
They have a possibility of kicking the shit out of San Francisco in a couple hours. We're recording this on Monday.
Yeah.
And then all of this meant no sense because it's like, holy shit, maybe they are the best team in football. I'm excited. I'm more excited for the NFC playoffs than I am the AFC playoffs. I think. I love the story of Sam Darnold. I love that the Eagles are just fucking around and constantly just being ups and downs all season, fucking with Philly fans. And I love that the Lions fans, nothing would make me happier this year for a Bills-Lions Super Bowl. I don't care who wins that game. I'm happy for whichever fan base. Those two fan bases deserve it. They're diehard football fans, some of the best football fans in the world. And New Orleans wouldn't survive. That's the only problem. New Orleans would be gone. It would all booze would be drank. It would just shut down. New Orleans would just shut down. Whichever team base or whatever fan base won that game, they would burn New Orleans to the ground. Or whichever fan base loses that game would burn New Orleans to the ground out of spite. It's a clusterfuck. It's going to be beautiful. Please, NFL gods, make this work. Not just to avoid the Chiefs three-peat, but oh my god, the most fun Super Bowl ever.
Every single bachelorette party says, San Francisco, New Orleans isn't ready for us. Nashville isn't ready.
Vegas
for us.
isn't ready for us. No. It's 730-pound dudes.
New Orleans probably isn't ready for the Midwest and Buffalo. Listen, it's going to be in negatives in the couple of the next week there. All they're going to do is drink. These people are experts at it. They have PhD level psychology degrees in how to drink perfectly. We like to pretend we can drink and we can't compared to them. I'm a lightweight compared to them.
It's a different beast.
It's a different beast up there. You lived up there. I've stayed here in the South where we drink mezcal and listen to Matthew McConaughey tell us how to make tuna salad. So just two different worlds. Okay, Steelers. I have some things on the Steelers. They're going to beat us. I think I'd be very concerned if I was a Steelers fan right now, kind of looking at the future of the franchise. I think maybe the Chiefs game opened up a few eyes. I'm still, with that said, they're still going to beat us in the first round of the playoffs. So Mike Tomlin yet again shows that you don't have to be the greatest coach of all time. Just do okay. You just get there and then you win. So Mike Tomlin, congrats on another year of your job. We'll see you again in 2025. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you'll retire. Who knows?
Is it crazy that we could have a whole division? Oh no, I forgot about the Browns. Okay, never mind. Forget what I was about to say. But just fucking forget. I was about to say it's crazy that we could have the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals, and the Browns. Never mind. I was gonna say a whole division in the playoffs. Nope, not even close, baby.
No. There's the closest. I mean, I think the closest we're gonna get is the NFC North in terms of like people actually taking the entire playoff picture.
Bears are bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are 3 teams in there who are like actively really good, and then the Bears also exist. They haven't. I mean, they're going to go 4-13 this season. Maybe 5-12 if I don't even know who they're playing this week. But if a miracle happens,
Caleb Williams is not the problem. That's all I'm going to say. Caleb Williams is not the problem.
I think most people have decided that Caleb Williams is like. He's just he's a byproduct right now of the situation he's been put in. Again, the Bears are so close to being a good team. All they need is a new president, new director of operations, new coach, new offensive line coach, new offensive line. It's like, it's
head coach.
Weapons.
Just to burn everything to the ground besides some of your defensive players and your quarterback.
I know they've been trying to like move Soldier Field or like move the Bears home for the last 10 years. Maybe like this is the time to do it. Just burn it all down. Try to play the Northwestern Stadium next season. All right.
Yeah, why not?
By the water. It's already built.
It's so small, dude.
It's so small.
I went to a Notre Dame Northwestern game. It's so small.
I mean, that probably matches Bears attendance rates right now. So, so I'll come back to bite these words in 15 years when the Bears make it to the playoffs finally. All right, Bengals.
Still alive.
I think last time I checked, let me check with I think NFL has made a 6% chance to make the playoffs.
They need help. I think the Bengals to make the playoffs, I think they need to win, the Broncos to lose, and Miami to lose. I believe all 3 things need to happen.
Yeah,
that's outlook bleak. Chiefs are benching everyone. Dolphins play the Jets, which is the most dysfunctional franchise outside of Chicago. Yeah.
I mean, this is a question I have for you. If you're the Chiefs right now, do you say, hey, I'm going to let the Broncos through because I think that may be an easier game for the Bills, or maybe an easier game to get through if we ever have to play them?
No, because the Bengals have one of the worst defenses, while
That's
the
true.
Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league.
Also, I forgot the Chiefs, like, they just turn on their black magic and they're fine. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Except for this weekend. I think maybe they'll stop the child sacrifice. Hey, child sacrifice is stopped for the week. Good for America. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Actually, it's every team has helped this. So thank you, every team who's played the Chiefs, except for the 2 of you guys who had the gall to beat them. Bills, we're looking at you. Or only 1. Sorry, they haven't lost 2.
Yeah, just the Bills.
I don't know. Maybe sometimes I want to believe too much. All right. Now I must go to a new question, Brian, because I saw stats and I want to ask you a question. I'm gonna put this in no particular order. If you are an MVP voter and I give you these stat lines for 3 different quarterbacks, because it's a quarterback award. Who are you voting for? Okay. Quarterback number 1, 3,955 yards, 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Quarterback number 2, 4,641 yards, 42 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Quarterback number 3, 3,549 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Quarterback number 2.
Okay. That's Joe Burrow.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. If he had a top 15 defense, they are in the wild card for sure. He's an MVP candidate. They probably won. They're probably 12-4 right now, to be honest. But their defense is like the 28th ranked defense, and they're so bad. And every single person on that team owes Joe Burrow an apology.
I'm going to say something right now, and this is just me speaking out loud, but something I really haven't thought about. If the award is most valuable player, what are we basing this on? What is the most valuable thing a player can do? And that's help their team win. I'm looking at Joe Burrow right now, and let's see if I can find it. I don't know if Pro Football Stats has anything on this, but long story short, I think if you are the guy who actively makes your team better and actively gets your team to a place where they can make the playoffs, possibly if the hand of God is in play and things happen, given that they have the 28th ranked defense, is that person the most valuable player in the entire league outside of maybe a Lamar Jackson who has those weapons? It's been said as well. So this is just me thinking out loud. It's been said as well that if Josh Allen had the Joe Burrow level of talent to throw to, he'd be there as well. But if you're talking about most valuable player, what is most valuable? Like, is it the player who has the best stats? Is it the guy who helps his team most? But what do we talk about teams? Like, if your defense sucks, but you're still winning games, are you the most valuable player? So I don't really know what I was thinking. I don't really know what I'm thinking.
He won't win it. He won't win it.
No, he won't win it.
Team wins are not a QB stats, but they go into the effect of the MVP voting. He has dragged the Bengals team to where they are. He is trying his best to drag him and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and rest in peace, Chase Brown, have dragged this team through their offense ability to where they are, where they have a chance at playoffs. He's not going to win it.
No. I listen. I don't think he is. There's no world where I'm like Joe Burrow is your 2024 MVP. No, he doesn't.
I still think it's Josh Allen.
I mean, I think Lamar came back this weekend. I
don't think they want to give it to a three-peat, though.
I don't think they do either, but I'm saying that I think it's more of a race than we're considering. I think Josh Allen probably had it wrapped. I don't know when they vote. I don't know when anyone votes for things. I know like the Heisman votes before the Heisman finalists are announced, but I don't know when anyone votes for things. But I imagine that there is a world out there where there's a close first road. I think Josh Allen still has it. But at the end of the day, I think also, again, what's most important is the Super Bowl. Who cares if you fucking win an MVP? If your team loses, in the AFC Championship to the Chiefs, which they all will. Everyone is destined to die by the Chiefs' hand. Just a couple more things. Eagles, I wrote Eagles kill. That was my only note. Also, Saquon has 2,000 plus yards as the first year of the season as an Eagle.
And people can't even bitch about, it's a longer season. He did it in 16 games.
Yeah. Good for him. Eagles kill, Cowboys dead. New York Giants versus our team. This is our Colts. We bleed blue. Drew Lock apparently had for EPA, so it's expected points gained basically per play. He's the sixth best since 1999. He pulled a Texans in 2022, won that last game, took him out of contesting for Shador, which apparently is the number one quarterback right now. So Drew Lock.
You fucked the Giants. Hilarious.
It worked for the Texans for one season.
That's true.
So I don't know, Drew Lock. I'm happy you're doing well after his situation in Denver and just getting thrown around. I do hope he succeeds. He's great at dancing on the sideline, which is my only quarterback stat I care about. Playoff picture. Do you have any thoughts on the playoff picture right now? Anything that you want to know?
No, there's no point predicting it. We're going to see what we're at next week, and for next show, we're definitely going to talk about two different playoffs. We're going to talk about the NFL playoffs, and we're going to talk about how the college football semifinals are shaped out.
Depends on when we do the podcast. It might be a special one on Saturday. Who knows? We'll see.
Oh, right. Nah, not that one. Maybe. Yeah.
We'll probably talk
the regular scheduled one.
This will be our regular schedule. We have a cool little fun whatever thrown in there.
You can say it's going to be my bachelor party.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't listen to this.
We talk about me getting married. It's fine.
Yeah. But it might be a bachelor party one, so we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to happen, but again, if it happens, it'll probably be a fun one. We'll have special guests.
It'll be rapid fire though.
We'll have Christian come in and talk about Kenny Omega for a second. That's a wrestling thing. Brian, any more thoughts on this week?
Not really. It's going to be kind of a fucked up week. You're going to have a lot of teams that aren't going to give a shit, and you're going to have a lot of teams that are going to give a really big shit. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a chaotic week, but not necessarily in the fun sense.
Yeah. Okay. I have one thing I want to talk about, and it's not to do with sports. We
gotta do picks.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Do picks. Sorry.
All right. Let's break down week 18's pick 'em. All right, let's start with on the two Saturday games. It's going to be Browns-Ravens. Let's start.
Ravens
there.
Yeah. Ravens have clinched. They're not going up or down. I mean, they might. I don't know. It depends on what the Steelers do. I think they're going to win this game. I don't think they're going to set anybody super hard.
I think it's the Ravens because the Browns are that bad, and even the backups of the Ravens are going to have a field day. Oh, also, have they wrapped the division? Are they? I think they did.
That they've officially wrapped because the Steelers are 10-6, so I didn't know if there was a chance.
Wrapped.
That's wrapped. Yeah.
And then speaking of Bengals Steelers,
the Bengals are white hot. I'm gonna with Bengals here. I think Bengals win, but we'll see when we talk about the Chiefs. Don't think that would matter much.
I'm going to go Steelers because I just think this is too much. This is too much of a Cinderella story, and Joe Burrow is going to have a tough time with this defense, and that defense is going to get shredded. This is going to be a get-right game for the Steelers, offensively at least. Saints Bucks.
Let's see. Give me the Bucks here. Bucks need to clinch, so give me the Bucks.
Same here. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Giants Eagles.
You know what? Let's see, where are the Eagles in terms of, give me the Giants here, honestly. I think the Eagles are going to set people.
Give me the Giants. Bears, Packers.
Give me the Packers here, honestly, because I think the Bears are just that bad. It doesn't matter.
I agree.
What they said.
I agree. Give me the Packers. Bills, Patriots.
Give me the Patriots. Give me the Patriots here, honestly. I think they got something. Bills are going to sit everyone.
I've got the Patriots as well. Texans, Titans.
Titans, because Texans are sitting everybody.
I agree. Panthers, Falcons.
Falcons, because Falcons have to win, but it doesn't matter if the Bucks win.
Jaguars, Colts.
Oh my God. Give me the I think the Colts are going to try to tank some. Or no, sorry. Give me the Colts. I think the Jags are going to try to tank some.
I'm taking the Jaguars. Commanders, Cowboys.
Give me the commies here.
Give me the Cowboys. Chiefs, Broncos.
Give me I think the Broncos. I think the Chiefs are considered everybody. I think Broncos have this.
I agree. I think Broncos have this. Chargers, Raiders.
Let's see. Where are the Chargers? I think this is Chargers. Give me the Chargers still. I'm just gonna go with Chargers still.
Dolphins, Jets.
Wait, who are you picking?
Oh, sorry, Chargers.
All right. Dolphins, Jets. I think Dolphins. This is a Dolphins must-win game. Don't think it matters still, but this is a must-win game. Also, Jets are terrible, so give me Dolphins.
I agree. Seahawks, Rams.
Give me the Seahawks.
Seahawks. 49ers, Cardinals.
Obviously, it has to be the Cardinals.
I'm going to go 49ers just for fun. Vikings, Lions.
So I think it depends heavily what happens tonight. If the Vikings lose somehow, if the Lions lose somehow, it's the Vikings, because everyone's going to sit each other. If it's a win, I know, fuck it. Lions going to win.
I'll take the Vikings. Let's have some fun on the last game. Yeah. Going over to my side of things, this is going to be a very interesting week. This is going to be a chaotic week, to be honest, because a lot of teams are going to be sitting people like we've talked about, and a lot of people are going to be playing their asses off to get into the playoffs. So, Browns, Ravens under 42.5, Bengals, Steelers over 48, Saints plus 14, Giants money line, Packers -9, Patriots plus 2.5, Titans -1, Panthers, Falcons over 47.5, Jaguars +5, Cowboys +3, Broncos -10, Chargers -5.5, Dolphins -2.5, Seahawks -3, 49ers and Cardinals over 46.5, and Vikings, Lions over 52.5. It's going to be a wonderful end to the season with that game.
Perfect. All right, Brian, do you have any more thoughts on anything?
No.
I just want to do a quick rant, quickly. So here's the thing. I've gone back into buying cards recently, like Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's a fun time. I am so fucking tired of like these wannabes who are just like, I pulled this card. Let me charge $300 for it. All right. I was trying to buy like a Hawlucha card because I like the Pokemon Hawlucha. It was like relatively inexpensive, but like it's crazy how expensive these things are because people value them so much. Like, listen, I understand maybe like a Charizard, a first edition Charizard. Cool. I don't think it should be like $100,000. Like maybe I'm crazy. It's taking like the joy away. Like whenever we were little and we did this, it was a fun time. I still get like actual joy from pulling cards. I just like cool cards. They look cool. I don't understand why like it has to be like this huge thing where it's like a money making business. It has sold its soul. The entirety of card making has sold its soul to be like money, profiteering driven. There's like one guy on TikTok I actually like because he gives free cards to kids. Good for him. Because that's what kids need. Just give them free cards. They're cool. But I just hate this like new, I don't know, age, like, oh, cards need to be like $15. It's like, they just look cool to me. Or like, people have to buy up like all the cool pack or like good packs. Like you have adults going to Target, like cleaning the place out. I don't know. It's just annoying. Open cards because they're cool, not because you want to make an investment. You're not the Warren Buffett of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You're not the Warren Buffett of, you're not the Steve Cohen of Pokemon cards. So that's my rant for this week. I'm just kind of annoyed by that.
It's not about the money. It's about the heart of the cards needed to get the Yu-Gi-Oh moment of the weekend.
There we go. Screw the rules. I have money though. So Brian, where can the people find you?
You can find me across all social medias, especially at twitch.tv/auricpolaris, AURICPOLARIS. Jordan, where can the people find you?
Find me at Jordan's Thoughts on Twitter, JORDENS Thoughts on Twitter, and then find me also at Moonsam Sports across all the platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter/X. Thank you so much for watching this week. We may or may not be back on Saturday. Who knows? But whatever. Thank you for watching this week. We appreciate you watching the last Moonsam Sports of the year, or Moonsam Cast of the year. So if you're listening, please leave a like, rating, subscription, whatever you can do. So thank you so much. Love you all.
Stay beautiful.